everyone, this is Larry with Today I Feel Like. This is going to be a great one. I am looking forward to this, and that is because I have the brand new 7 Artisans 85 f1.8 autofocus lens for Sony E-mount. This is a full frame lens, and I am excited to try it out. This is going to be a portrait lens, or really any kind of lens you want to use it for, but it's going to be an 85mm f1.8, so it's going to be super duper fast. It's going to be great in low light, great shallow depth of field. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and throw this on my camera, but before we do, let's unbox it and see what comes inside. All right, here is the lens. This is the 7 Artisans lens right here, and we can see this is going to be the autofocus 85mm f1.8, and yeah, I am looking forward to it. This is going to be a full frame autofocus prime lens, and it looks like it says it's going to have a 0.8 meter minimum focusing distance, 28.5 degrees field of view, and it's going to have a 62mm filter ring so that you can use that if need be. And we can see here, this is going to be for E-mount. And we can get a little bit of a look at the diagram sort of inside the lens there. Just some you know, I think serial number stuff there. And then some contact info for the brand. So let me go ahead and see if we can get this out of the packaging here and take a look at the lens. And ooh, look at this. Already I like this. This is going to be a USB-A to USB-C cable. And that is so that you can get firmware updates for the lens. Now, sometimes with third-party lenses, you can't simply plug in, you can't attach the lens to your body and then have the firmware update go straight through. You could do that generally with a lens that's from the same brand as your camera manufacturer, but third-party lenses don't always work that way. So this way, you can plug in and get the firmware updates and get your lens working perfectly as the company wants it. So there we go. All right, we're going to get here a little bit of a user's guide if you need that. So you'll have some information about what is what. We'll take a look at that later if we need to. And then we have over here, we have our silica gel, because we always have to have silica gel. Then we have our QC sticker, or QC thing right there for quality control. And then here is the lens. Look at that. Look how this thing, first of all, it feels very, very solid, but it's also very small. Look at that. That is nice and petite. This is an 85mm lens, and it is an f1.8, and it is looking very nice and petite. So we can see here we're going to have an autofocus, manual focus switch. So if you want to go ahead and switch between the two, you can. It looks like this might be a focus hold button or maybe some sort of custom button, but generally these buttons like this are usually like a focus hold button. Now, the other cool thing about this is you may notice it actually has an aperture ring on the lens. So you can see right now it's an auto, and if it's an auto, when it's on your camera, you're going to be able to adjust the aperture from your camera like you would with any other sort of fully automatic lens. But if you go and adjust it out of auto, now you can see we have a clickless aperture ring right there, and you can manually adjust your aperture. So if you want to go ahead and take full control over this, you can. Or maybe you're shooting video and you're moving from indoors to outdoors, or the lighting situation is changing. Maybe you're doing an interview and clouds are going overhead or something, and you want to be able to manually adjust your aperture. You can do that and do it silently with that clickless aperture. So that is very nice. Let me go ahead and put it back on auto. I generally like to adjust my aperture from my camera, but you know, maybe I'll do it from here. I've gotten used to doing it that way. I used to adjust everything from the lenses because that before was my only options. But since I've gotten used to this and used to shooting, adjusting everything from my camera, but we'll see. Maybe I'll use it from the lens. So there we go. We have here that front element, looks nice and clean right there. That 62mm filter thread, and then we have sort of a petal, sort of flower petal designed lens hood that snaps right on there. So, and you can see there's a little hash mark so that you know where to make the alignment. So you have the white one there, put it there, twist it, boom, red to red, you're good to go. You even have a little 7 Artisans branding right there, and everything is lined right on up. So there you go. You can see dot, 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 everything's lined up, so you know you have everything perfectly aligned and ready to go. So, all right, if we take a look at the back part right here, we can see that's where we're going to have that, that USB-C port right there so that we can actually update the lens if need be. We're going to have all of our electronics there. I think it's a serial number right there. And it looks like, I feel like there might be a little bit of something in there. This might be weather sealed. I'm going to have to check it out. I'm not sure if it is, but I think I feel a little gasket in there, which might indicate that this lens is weather sealed, which would be really, really fantastic. So, all right, that's that. Let's go ahead. We'll put this back on there. I'm going to go ahead and put this on a camera. We're going to take it out and go do some shooting, see if I can get some cool pictures, some video clips, and I'll tell you a little bit about the lens. All right, well, I am back from Atlantic City shooting this lens, and the first thing that I noticed when I started shooting with it is that the autofocusing is very, very fast and it's accurate. Now, I love the fact that I can actually track with this lens if I'm shooting video. That's one problem I've had with some third-party lenses, but this lens, it is no problem. This thing locks onto a subject, holds it, and tracks all the way through the shot. Now, another really nice thing about the tracking with this lens is that if you transition from one subject to another, it has a nice smooth transition and it locks onto that other subject and does it in a smooth way that doesn't seem to abrupt or anything. So this lens so far with autofocusing, I'm giving it an A+. It is fantastic. Now, this lens does not have built-in image stabilization. So if you're trying to use this in such a way where you're really going to need image stabilization, you're probably going to want to put it on a gimbal or something. But if you're just hand holding this and you're standing still and you have a camera that actually has built-in image stabilization, this is going to work really, really nicely. So I have a Sony a7CR and it has built-in image stabilization in the body, and I'm able to hand hold this lens and it just looks really, really stable and nice. So now, when I first got this lens, I thought of it primarily as a portrait lens because, well, it's an 85mm f1.8, and that's what most people use for portraits, and it is fantastic for that. It really does take wonderful, wonderful portraits. However, I have found that I just absolutely love this lens for street photography because I can actually shoot subjects just pretty much anywhere I want to shoot, and I get that nice separation from the foreground and the background, the subject in the background, because with that f1.8 aperture, you get that nice background blur, and it doesn't really matter where you are. If you're far away, close up, it just really gives you that nice separation. Now, finally, as you would expect, you would think this lens would be a low light monster, and it is. It really is a fantastic low light shooting lens. I mean, if you're indoors shooting or if you're outdoors at night, it is absolutely fantastic. You can go ahead and open this lens all the way up to f1.8 and you're still going to get razor sharp images. It is fantastic. Now, just one word of warning, because you're shooting at such a wide aperture, anything that's just off the focal plane in front or behind it is going to be out of focus. So you need to make sure that you really lock on to whatever it is you want in focus, because otherwise you are going to get some blur in the foreground and the background. But other than that, that is just part of the mechanics of photography. That has nothing to do with the lens being bad or good. In fact, it really says that the lens is good and it's doing its job. But I really, really love shooting this thing in low light because the images that it produces are just wonderful. So all in all, I have to say the 7 Artisans 85mm f1.8 lens is fantastic. I have just been having a ton of fun with this lens. Now, it may be the simplicity of just having a single focal length, or maybe it's the fact that it has exceptional autofocus, or maybe it's just because it produces wonderful images with this lens at f1.8 and all the way through. But whatever it is, I have just been loving this lens and having a ton of fun shooting with it. So anyways, I'm gonna leave links to it down below in the video description so that you can check it out. I'm also gonna leave links to my Amazon page and my social media contacts so you can reach me elsewhere. And I hope you enjoyed seeing this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and please subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram. And I am Larry with Today I Feel Like. Thanks for coming back to see me. Come back and see me soon. And until next time, love, peace, and hair grease. Peace.